Welcome back to USA Trending Update. I am Papu, and today we bring you a major tennis story that has fans across the world watching closely as one of the sport's most exciting young stars steps back into competition. Alex Eala is officially returning to action, and she is doing so against one of the most talked about names in women's tennis, Mirra Andreeva in Macau. This matchup is not just another line on the tournament schedule. It is a meeting of two generations of ambition, talent, pressure, and promise unfolding on an international stage that has become increasingly important in the global tennis calendar. Alex Eala's return has been anticipated for weeks. After a period away from competition that sparked speculation, concern, and curiosity among fans and analysts alike, her name is once again appearing on a match draw, and that alone has sent ripples through the tennis community. Eala has long been viewed as one of the most technically gifted and mentally composed young players to emerge from Southeast Asia. Her journey has never been just about wins and losses. It has been about representation, resilience, and rewriting expectations of what a young Filipina athlete can achieve on the global stage. Macau, known for its bright lights and high-profile sporting events, provides a fitting backdrop for this return. The city has increasingly positioned itself as a destination for international tennis, blending world-class facilities with an audience eager to witness top-level competition. For Eala, stepping onto the court here symbolizes more than a comeback. It represents a re-entry into a competitive landscape that has only grown tougher, faster, and more unforgiving during her absence. Across the net stands Mirra Andreeva, a name that has quickly become synonymous with fearlessness and explosive rise. Still in her teens, Andrea has already shown a level of composure that many seasoned professionals spend years trying to master. Her game is built on aggressive baseline play, sharp angles, and a willingness to take risks at moments when others might hesitate. Facing her is no easy task for any opponent, let alone someone returning to competition and looking to find rhythm, confidence, and timing. This matchup immediately draws attention because it represents two very different trajectories converging at a single moment. Eala's career has been shaped by steady development, high expectations, and the weight of being a trailblazer. Andrea's rise has been fast, loud, and fueled by headline-grabbing performances against top players. When these two paths intersect, the result is not just a tennis match, but a narrative rich with contrast and intrigue. Alex Eala's story begins long before Macau. From her junior days, she was marked as special. Her court awareness, shot selection, and calm demeanor separated her from many of her peers. She did not rely solely on raw power. Instead, she built points with intelligence, patience, and an understanding of geometry that allowed her to control rallies even against physically stronger opponents. This cerebral approach to tennis earned her respect early and made her one of the most closely watched prospects from her region. However, with promise comes pressure. As Eala transitioned from junior success to the professional tour, expectations followed her everywhere. Every match became a measure of progress. every setback was magnified. Time away from competition only intensified the spotlight with fans, wondering how she would respond, how her game would evolve, and whether she would return sharper, stronger, and more determined. Her return in Macau is, therefore, layered with meaning. It is a chance to reintroduce herself to the tour, not as a junior prodigy or a developing talent, but as a competitor, ready to test herself against the best of her generation. Facing Mirra Andreeva immediately answers one of the biggest questions surrounding her comeback. There will be no gentle easing in. There will be no soft landing. The challenge is direct and demanding. Mirra Andreeva, on the other hand, arrives in Macau, carrying momentum and confidence. Her recent performances have shown a player unafraid of the big stage. She has demonstrated an ability to absorb pressure, redirect pace, and dictate points with authority. What sets Andreeva apart is not just her physical skill, but her emotional control. She competes with an intensity that rarely spills into recklessness, a balance that is rare at her age. For Andreeva, this match is an opportunity to assert her position as one of the leading young forces in women's tennis. A victory over Eala would reinforce her reputation as a player who capitalizes on opportunity and handles expectations with maturity. At the same time, she must be wary of underestimating an opponent returning with something to prove. History is filled with examples of players who underestimated a comeback and paid the price. The setting in Macau adds another dimension to the story. Playing conditions, crowd dynamics, and the atmosphere of a high-profile international event can influence a match in subtle but significant ways. For Eala, the environment could provide motivation, a sense of occasion that sharpens focus and fuels determination. For Andreeva, it is another chance to show that unfamiliar surroundings do not disrupt her game or her mindset. As the match approaches, analysts have begun dissecting potential strategies. Eala's success may depend on her ability to disrupt Andreeva's rhythm, using variation, depth, and angles to prevent her opponent from settling into aggressive baseline exchanges. Eala has always been at her best when she forces opponents to think, when she draws them out of their comfort zones and into patterns that test patience and discipline. Andreeva, meanwhile, will likely aim to apply pressure early, testing Eala's movement, timing, and confidence. A fast start could be crucial, especially against a player still adjusting to match intensity. By dictating play and keeping rallies on her terms, Andreeva can attempt to shorten points and avoid being pulled into the kind of tactical battles where Eala often thrives. Beyond tactics, the mental aspect of this match cannot be overstated. For Eala, managing expectations, both internal and external, will be key. A return match is rarely just about the opponent. It is about self-assessment, about gauging where one's game stands after time away. Every point carries information, and staying present without overanalyzing is one of the biggest challenges any returning player faces. For Andreeva, the challenge lies in balancing confidence with respect. Facing a player with Eala's pedigree requires focus and adaptability. If Eala finds her rhythm, and begins to control the tempo. Andreeva must be ready to adjust to show that her game is not one-dimensional, but capable of responding to different looks and challenges. This encounter also resonates beyond the immediate players. Alex Eala's return is followed closely by fans in the Philippines and across Asia, where she represents a growing presence in global tennis. Her journey has inspired young athletes and brought increased attention to tennis programs in the region. Every time she steps on court, she carries not just her own ambitions but the hopes of those who see her as proof that international success is possible. Mirra Andreeva similarly represents a new wave of youthful confidence in women's tennis. Her rise reflects a generation unafraid of breaking through early, of challenging established names, and of embracing the spotlight. Matches like this one help define how that generation will shape the future of the sport. As the tennis world watches Macau, the anticipation builds around what this match will reveal. Will Alex Eala's return be marked by composure, creativity, and a reminder of why she was once considered one of the most promising talents of her generation? Or will Mirra Andreeva's momentum and fearless approach prove too much, signaling another step forward in her rapid ascent? Regardless of the outcome, this match stands as a meaningful chapter in both players' stories. For Eala, it is the beginning of a new phase, an opportunity to reconnect with competition and reassert her place on the tour. For Andreeva, it is another test of consistency, focus, and growth under expectation. The broader significance of this encounter lies in what it says about modern women's tennis. The sport is evolving rapidly, driven by young players who bring athleticism, intelligence, and confidence in equal measure. Comebacks and breakthroughs often intersect, creating moments that capture attention and spark debate. Macau becomes the stage where these forces meet, even if only for a single match. As fans tune in, they are not just watching forehands and backhands. They are watching resilience in action, ambition tested under pressure, and the ongoing reshaping of the women's game. Alex Eala's return against Mirra Andreeva is more than a fixture. It is a moment that invites reflection on how far these players have come and how much further they may go. From the opening point to the final handshake, every rally will carry meaning. Each adjustment, each reaction, each display of emotion will offer insight into where these athletes stand at this stage of their journeys. Win or lose, the experience gained in Macau will shape their seasons and influence how they approach future challenges. Here on Trending Now USA, we will continue to follow this story closely, tracking not just the result, but the implications that ripple outward from this match. Alex Eala's return is a reminder that careers are rarely linear, that pauses and comebacks are part of the story. Mirra Andreeva's presence underscores how quickly the future can arrive. As the lights shine on the court in Macau and the first serve is struck, one thing is certain: tennis fans are about to witness a compelling clash of talent, timing, and tenacity. This is Alex Eala returning to action. This is Mirra Andreeva defending her eyes. And this is the kind of matchup that reminds us why the sport continues to captivate audiences around the world.